everyone, my name is Zinubia Woodwa Asma, founder and CEO of Zainax Organics and an Anzisha 2023 fellow from Ghana. After secondary school, that is senior high school, I took a gap year from education or school, and it was a 1 year gap where I did a lot of community work. So I volunteered as a people teacher for basic school students in primary 4, 5, and 6. I also had extra, which was free tuition classes for junior high school students, particularly those who were going to write their entrance examination that would allow them to go into senior high school. I also did a lot of community cleanup exercises, peer mentoring, and education on sex for young girls in basic schools as well, and just teaching them the importance of education and focusing on their education so they could get the opportunities that were in secondary school and then other higher learning institutions as well. But during that 1 year gap and all of this work, impact in the community, and then also developing myself, society didn't see it as work. And mostly for young people, especially those who have just completed secondary school, we get asked the question, so where are you now, a lot. And they don't even start with a question of how are you, they just go straight to ask you, so where are you now. And after the 1 year gap of community engagement, active volunteer work, I applied to tertiary, I got into tertiary, and that was a period where I met one of my teachers from secondary school. And just as everybody had asked, she asked me too, so where are you now? And in that moment, I was very excited she didn't meet me when I was doing my community engagement and asked me that question, because it would have meant I wouldn't have much to tell her. But I was doing a lot. But because society doesn't count that as work, it would have meant she also wouldn't have viewed it as work, especially when she also asked me just, where are you now, instead of asking, how are you? And in that moment, I was really excited that I was in tertiary, and I was excited to tell her I was in the University of Cape Coast. After the conversation, I was just excited that she didn't meet me a year ago. But that year ago too, I was doing a lot of work. And starting my entrepreneurship journey, this is a question that I'm also asked a lot. You get a lot of people from the society asking you, so what are you doing now? Are you going to look for work? What work are you doing? And then when I tell them I'm working on my business, they go, but have you considered applying for a job other places too? And in my mind, it's like, what I'm doing is work too. I'm working on my business, Zainax Organics, and I am still actively engaged in my community. But again, society does not count that as work at all. These and many more are challenges that young people face. Young African entrepreneurs constantly go through this, and I have gone through it myself. Being constantly asked the question, so where are you now? What are you doing now? And being told maybe you should get a job outside of what you're doing. And this is because society only sees work as waking up in the morning, taking your bag and going to a building or a structure, doing 9 to 5, and that is what they only consider as work. But in all of this challenge, I have realized that I do not have to constantly chase after the next big thing just to get validation from other people in the society who do not see what young entrepreneurs doing as work. And young African entrepreneurs, we are making impact everywhere we find ourselves. We are making impact with resources and lessons that we have learned in school, lessons we've picked up from our community, active engagement in the community, and we are utilizing these resources and making a better community. So it is okay if people do not see what I do as work, but I know it is work. I know it is making an impact in other people's lives. I know through my business, Zainax Organics, I am able to employ other young people and give them the opportunity of decent work. And it is just okay for people to ask, what are you doing now? Because society isn't going to stop. Society is not going to stop asking that question now. And it is a challenge that other African entrepreneurs would have to go through or are facing in other countries. But the thing is, young African entrepreneurs are not stopping now. We are utilizing our resources. We are making impact in diverse sectors: health, beauty, tech, education. We are making impact in everything. And we are using the resources that we have and the way that we know how. And it's just okay for it not to fit into society standards, because this is how we make impact and this is how we grow as a community, as a nation, and as a continent. Thank you. In recording this video, something interesting just came up. So the videographer, who is also a young entrepreneur videoing this, and this is his job as well, he just said something interesting. That what I just mentioned is something that his mom constantly talks about. And his mom is always saying, I'm going to say this in our local dialect. He said his mom is always saying, into university na yɛde wo kɔɔeɛ no, what did you learn from it? You're supposed to do an office work. Why are you doing photography? And he feels like very soon his mom would be against him doing photography. But I mean, his work is beautiful. But this is a challenge that he also has to face. Why? Because society perceives work as just an office work, 9 to 5. And after tertiary, it's like you have to belong to an institution. You have to work in a bank. You have to be a teacher just for it to seem like you are working. But young African entrepreneurs now are not like that. We are making our own way. We are making impact in the way that we know how. And we are using resources that we have acquired all over, our experiences, things that we've learned in school, to create a new path so we develop our community together. And again, it is okay for it to be outside of what society deems as the norm, because we are young African entrepreneurs and we are going to win and we are making impact. Thank you.